Welcome back to Color and Cut Education. My name is Sebastian. Okay, today I'm going to share with you on how to cut one length hair. Alright, so what is one length hair? One length hair is actually when the hair falls naturally down, okay, and you cut it straight. That is one length hair. Now, one length hair comes in various forms. Some of them is short, some of them is long. So long, right, is actually at the back of the shoulder, okay, because it's below the shoulder, right, so it will be back at the shoulder and you cut a straight line. There'll be one length for long hair. So how about short hair? Short hair is actually from the nape to the side. Okay, so today we are going to cut the short one, not the long one, the short one. Okay, so the short one, right, everybody have issue with one length hair. So one length hair, everybody have different prospect about cutting it. Okay, some say easy, some say difficult. So I'm going to solve the issue for the difficult one. Okay, so later I'm going to proceed with the haircut and show you the tips and tricks about cutting one length hair. Alright, so I have wet the hair, and you can see over here, right, there is a lot of section. Alright, but in real scenario, that means in salon, or you cut your model or your friend's hair, there should be only 4 segments or 4 parts, which is the front 2 or the back 2, or you can do with 2 parts, which is the left or the right. Okay, so this is only for me to share with you what are the tips that I'm sharing later on. Okay, so let's see. Now the fringe over here, okay, I section off because this is crucial. At the same time, it's optional, because nowadays in salon, or most of our friends already have fringe. Means they have a straight fringe, or they have slant fringe, or they have a French fringe. Okay, so this fringe, right, is optional. Okay, at the same time crucial for if they have long fringe. That means long fringe, that means they have not cut before and they want to cut with the hair one length later on. So I'm going to show you later on. Okay, so next one, I'm going to show you this. Now this is the sideburn and the hair that is above the ear. Okay, this is also crucial. Why? Because most of the hairdressers, okay, they tend to always make mistake, and they always have this one. That means the outcome is like that. There's a hole. Okay, so I'm going to teach you later on how to deal with this. At the same time, at the back here, we have the nape area. The nape area is also another crucial part, because this is where our guideline always be jagged. That means they are not straight or they are slant. Okay, so I'm going to teach you later on how to cut this. Alright, now you can see that my hair is wet. Now you can also cut on dry hair, but I don't advise for beginners to do it. Okay, because if you want to learn how to control the hair, how to cut it properly, all this, right, so wet hair is still suitable for you. If you want to cut on dry hair, I always advise on people who have experience, then you cut on dry hair. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, now we are going to cut the back first. Alright, why we cut the back first? It's easier to control and get our guideline. If you want to cut from the side, yes you can, but the side, right, usually is those pro hairdresser, then they do from the side. Okay, if you are still learning, please start from the back, easier to control. Okay, same thing, we need water. Alright, so water is our friend. Okay, we need to wet the hair. Okay, so we are going to cut the bottom, and we are using this kind of comb. Okay, it's okay if you want to choose other color, black or gray or colorful. I choose this comb because it's white, easier for you to see. At the same time, there is white teeth and there is a closed teeth. Alright, so I'm going to show you why I choose the white teeth and the closed teeth. Now at the back here, the nape area, okay, because it is a mannequin, we can't really feel the things that I'm going to say later on. Okay, but what I'm going to say is that the nape area is the looser skin on the head. Okay, now you touch your nape and try to pull the hair strand. Do you feel that your skin is moving? So when the skin is moving, right, it actually creates elasticity. It can actually pull maybe even longer than usual. But we usually don't pull on the bottom hair, because once you pull and you cut any bounce back, the guideline will be jagged, at the same time will not be straight. Okay, so I will use a white teeth comb here because it does not give us any tension. That's why we use the white teeth comb. So how do we comb the hair? So we comb it like that. At the same time, when you section, it must be straight. Okay, try to be straight lah. So when we comb like that. Now what do you see? We see only the back of the comb, this one. Okay, we call it the backbone of the comb. So when we comb, right, we only see this. Don't comb like that. Okay, don't comb like that, because once you comb like that, right, and you comb down and you cut, what do you see? You see all these teeth. So you do not know which is your guideline. Okay, it's easier for you to see the backbone of the comb. So the backbone of the comb is always straight. All right, please do not get the slant one. All right, so now we're going to cut it down. Okay, we always start it and cut it at the center first before we go to the side, because once this side is too short, then here you have to cut it shorter. Or once this side is too short, you have to cut this side shorter. So always start from the center first. Okay, center first. So we're going to cut the center first. Okay, we comb it down and we cut. Now when we cut it like that, as close to the comb. Alright, we cut it like that, as close as to the comb. Okay, so once you cut it like that, what's next? Then we will venture to either the right side first or the left side first. So I'm a right-hander, I will cut on my right-hand side first. Okay, why? Because right-handers, right, they always make mistake on this side, not this side. Okay, this side will be longer than that side, right? So I will make myself cut the right-hand side first, but I will try to make it longer. Okay, you see my comb is slanted. I will make it long. Why? Because I myself scared that I might cut too short also. So I will make it longer. Then I will cut it. Now we got it like that. Now you see, it's longer, right? Okay. Then we try not to cut it too precise. So we cut it this side. Okay. Funny thing is that every time when we cut, right, you will have two different lines. Okay, you will find it that one side shorter, one side longer. Now, if it is longer by half an inch, I leave it. Okay, why? Because during blow drying, these two will also contract it too short. That means when we blow dry, right, you'll find it that for Asian hair, after we blow dry this part, it will contract it. And what happens here, that here will be, instead of a square, it goes to be a round. Okay, that means there's going to be a bit of U shape. Okay, so I'm going to leave it, then we're going to trim it later on. Okay, so I myself here, that this part here, okay, funny thing that when you touch the top hair or the back of the head, or you call it the occipital bone to the crown, this part here, this portion here is always you feel that it's quite tight. Okay, and no matter how you pull, right, you don't feel like the skin over here, it is loose. So here it's okay if I pull too hard to cut, but later on I will show you what's going to happen. So we section a bit first. So how much to section? You want the section as thin as possible? Also can. You want to section thick? Also can. But if you section too thick, you can't see the guideline, then you have to section thinner. Okay, so we are going to cut this part here first before I let go that side. Okay, so what you see over here is this part of the hair is very near to the ear. Okay, so very near to the ear, that means what? That means it's actually at the side already. So if it is at the side, you cannot cut round like that. Okay, you cannot cut round like that, because once you cut round like that, when it's dry, it's going to be shorter. So I will actually pull slightly to the back to cut, so it will be longer. So what happened? I used the closed teeth. Okay, the white teeth is just now, so now it's closed teeth. I will comb down. Okay, the guideline is over here, so I'm going to cut it. So I cut it on the guideline. If you're afraid that you will cut too short, you can cut longer than the guideline. Okay, so here I will just comb to the back a bit. Cut. So here will be like that. Alright. So once it's like that, I will bring down this part of the hair. Okay, so you can see the guideline over here. Try to shift a bit. Okay, you see the guideline over here. Now, then the same thing, I will slightly direct to the back. Okay, just like that. So once it's done, okay, you get your horizontal line. Okay, you feel that, see there's a lot of hair to cut. Hold it first, hold it first. Okay, later we will trim it off. Okay, then what's next? We're going to cut this part. Okay. So as you can see from the angle of the video, actually I'm facing right behind the mannequin. Okay, so you actually should be facing behind the live model, but what you see over here is actually the corner here. So the same thing, I'm going to cut. It's okay if I cut a bit right to the left, because the left is actually longer than my guideline, slightly longer. Same thing, over direct a bit to the center and cut it. And it goes like that. So, the next one. Next one, we're going to cut on the guideline. Okay, so it goes like that. If I want to pull with my finger, what happens that you see like that? Can you see? Now you might see that your cutting is not very straight. I'm not convinced enough. It's okay, okay? Because we are trying to let the learners to get the hang of it, of how to cut hair. Now what you have here, and you can try to cut a bit. Be careful of your fingers, because we do not want to have bleeding hands later on. Okay? So we try to minimize all those hair, because it is a bit too long, so we just have to cut a bit off. Okay, until you get the straight one. So once this is done, then we are going to cut the sides. So we're going to cut the side over here. Now the sides, we can see when you pull the side, what you see that is actually it's a bit slant. Okay, it's normal that it's slant. We do not want it to be straight on wet hair, because when it's straight on wet hair, on dry hair, it's actually going to be like that. Alright, so it's normal if you cut until there's a diagonal forward. like that. Okay, it's normal. Okay, now we come to here. Spray some water. Okay. Now why this is crucial? Because of the ear. Now for ear, right, there is some, because this is a mannequin, you don't see it protruding. Okay, it's going to be flat. But for real life model, okay, or your client, some of them have very big ears, some of them have protruding ear. Not all of them have small ears. So what happens is that when it is protruding and you cut just right nice over here at the guideline, when it's dry, the ear will actually push the hair and it's going to be shorter, and that is where you get this semicircle or a hole. So what we have here is that we're going to cut the bit slightly longer than the guideline, so that when it dry, the hair has some allowance and the ear will actually push up the hair, right? So big teeth or white teeth comb. So here, right, we're going to about 1 inch longer, slightly longer, and we cut. Okay, slightly longer, and we cut. So later on, when it dries, when it contracts back, we can actually cut it off. Okay, so we're going to cut the top part of the hair, and we're going to wet the hair. So when we wet the hair, when we comb down, section first. Okay, and you can see the guideline, you can section more. And we're going to comb down. So when you comb down, the same thing, we use a closed teeth. We're going to cut. Okay, we can cut slightly shorter, okay, which is the previous guideline. We cut a bit slightly shorter. Okay, and we leave some of hair here, hair strand, we try to minimize it. Okay, so once it's like that, okay, we need to have some allowance. Now on mannequin hair, you don't see it because the ear is flat. Okay, so if you do it on a live model, it's a different thing. Some live model ear is slightly bigger or even bigger, then you need to be aware, right? So same thing, I'm going to come down and I'm going to cut it. Okay, so down here, few strand, just trim it off. So what's next? Okay, I'm going to use my finger to pull it to check whether is it slightly too long. Now it is too long. Okay, so I need to cut shorter. It should be not too long, not more than 1 inch. Okay, if possible, try to cut less than an inch, near to half an inch. Near to half an inch. Okay, because we do not want it to too much and you can't see the guideline later on when it dries. A scissors makes a difference. Try not to get too blunt, okay, because you don't want it to keep cutting and cutting, keep cutting and cutting, and the hair does not drop. Okay, so just like that will do. Okay, so once it's like that, we go to the other side. So now we are coming to the fringe area. Now this fringe area here is the crucial part. What's the crucial part of this fringe? It's because the fringe is actually at the front, but this horizontal line, or this one line, is actually have to be here, right? So we have to direct this part of the hair to the side here to cut. So you have to section the half first, and we have to comb down. So when we comb down, you see how my finger, I have to push the hair right to the back to cut. So the hair will be actually longer. The hair will be actually longer than the side, and we're going to cut it. Okay, then it will be long. Okay, it's okay. When it's dry, we will trim it off, right? But please direct the hair to the back, because we do not want it to be short later on. It's always, when it's dry, it's always to be best to be longer than shorter, because when it's too short, you can't change anything, and you might need to recut if it is the front too short, or you need to optionally cut the fringe later on. Okay, so let's dry it and we will trim. Okay, so I have dried the hair, and we can see right here, okay, so it's quite considered quite straight, okay, but there are still places we need to trim. I did not trim any parts of the hair yet. Okay, you might think that I might go and trim it. No, I haven't trimmed it. So inside here is a slightly longer part over here. So right now we are going to trim the hair. Now you might think that why just now we don't cut first before we dry the hair? Yeah, you can cut first before you dry the hair. The learning part today is for the beginners. Okay, we are trying to not make too much mistake in the haircut. Okay, so right here, we're going to trim it off. So we'll comb it down using a white teeth, and we trim. From here onwards, you can trim as straight as possible. Okay. You can trim as straight as possible. So this part I'm done. So second part. Now when you blow dry, like just now I blow dry, try to brush dry the hair. Don't ever use brushes to section by section blow straight, because if you blow straight, right, the roots, it will have a corner, and with a corner, right, it will never be natural when you trim the hair. Now can I put tension for now? You can, but does not make any difference, because the haircut, if you put too much pressure, basically the haircut will be ruined. Okay, if you put too much pressure, your haircut will be ruined due to the tension, because you will never be as equal as it is. Okay, that's for dry hair. If you were to cut it too much on dry hair, then you have a problem when the client were to go home and shower or rinse the head, because once they do that, on wet hair there will be long and short. Now when you trim hair or cut hair, try to go this left side first, then go the right hand side. That means one segment, finish one particular portion, then you go the other one. Don't go left, right, left, right, left, right, because you will have disaster later on, whereby you might not see properly the guideline. This is my experience. I feel that way. But if some people, they might think that no, it does not. It works for me by going left, right. If I were to cut one side first, then I cut the other side, I will make more mistake. It depends on person, how they train themselves. I train myself to be like that. It means I cut finish one portion, then I go for the other side. Alright, so I'm going to trim the other side right now. Okay, so we've done one side, so we go the other side. Now, when you cut this hair, you might think that, oh, I'm wasting too much time, I'm trimming. How do I manage? Then you have to cut as accurate as it is, but that needs a lot of practice to cut as accurate as it is. Okay, so we're going to cut the side, the one that is left half an inch. Okay, then we'll continue. Okay, so the fringe area, okay, I use my finger and I cut it. Okay, so that it will be as equal as the back. Okay, we will not go to the front and cut it like that. Okay, it's wrong. It's wrong, because if you cut it like that, then it will be rounded when you bring it to the side. Now some people will try to cut it at the front, and some say that I will not get rounded. It will still depends on how you cut it. I myself will bring to the side. Okay, so I can usually let my clients play the front a bit if it is a bit longer. Okay, and we will cut the other side. Okay, so after trimming, okay, we have come to an end. Both sides is equal, all right, and we are going to refresh the whole haircut again. Okay, so let's refresh the whole haircut. Now we have used a few sections, which is the front, the fringe, sideburn, and the nape, okay, and the 4 parts, right? So in real scenario, you only do 4 sections. So I also explained just now that the few crucial point. We start from the nape first, okay? We start from the nape first, and when we start from the nape, right, down here, is that we try to use the white teeth comb, okay, the white teeth comb. Then when you comb, least pressure on the live model, and when you cut it, right, try to go as a concave, okay, a slight concave. Both sides is longer, so that you will not cut too short at the side. Then after a while, we come to the top, we bring down and cut. Then we will come to the side. Now when we come to the side down here, all right, is that because it's sideburn, it's also as loose as the nape area. So the sideburn and the ear above, the part of the hair, when we bring down to cut, we try to make it 1 inch maximum allowance, and we cut it so there is a difference of length. After a while, you cut finish this side, all right, again use finger, okay, a bit of pressure, and you cut as close as to 1/2 inch, okay. Then we'll come to the other side, the same also. Then after that, we'll come to the fringe. We try to direct the hair to the back and cut it so that you give some allowance at the front. So the front is actually triangular, okay. Then that's it, okay. When you blow dry the hair, try not to use too much of brushing, okay. Use a bit of more of a brush dry, and you trim it off all the so-called allowance, and you get it your 1 length haircut, and that will save some hair that will come out any holes. All right, you do not want to see holes in the haircut, because once you see holes in the haircut, you will take the shortest point and recut the whole hair again. Okay, I hope you like my tips and tricks, and I will see you in my next vid.